Hello YouTube, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back together again. And in today's video, we're doing a movie ranking of one of Disney's most popular franchises in the Pirates of the Caribbean. So this past week, actually about a week ago, I watched the very first Pirates of the Caribbean, and then last Sunday, I watched the second film, and pretty much the rest of this week, I was pretty much watching the rest of the franchise since, I don't know, I just felt like it. And now I can finally do a ranking with you guys. Actually, that's what it was intentionally supposed to be. I was actually going to rank this and all the Disney theme park adaptations of attractions, but there's a couple of them I haven't seen, so I think maybe in a week or so, that video will be up. I think it will be out in the next 2 weeks. So you'll probably, you know what? Yeah. That video will be June 11th. You'll get that video of all the Disney theme park attractions, because as of right now, I've only seen 8 films, with the Pirates movies, the Haunted Mansion films, and Jungle Cruise. So I've only seen 8, and you see 5 more, so that means there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 films. So that video will be coming out in the next 2 weeks on June 11th. In 10 days. Promise. Anyway, let's get started talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. And in my opinion, I think that this is easily the weakest in all the pirate movies. Now, you think that because it's the most recent one, it would have the coolest special effects, the coolest character stuff, the coolest score, the coolest all of it. And I just feel like it tried to do ideas that worked in past films, and they just didn't work. They introduced this new pirate with Javier Bardem, which, by the way, I think this movie proves my point that I do not like Javier Bardem in film in general. He played King Triton in the live-action Little Mermaid last year. I was not a fan of him, and I'm still not a fan of him in this movie. He tries to play this creepy pirate that, along with those other pirates, where they're basically cursed and they're dead. And even you get an update with Will Turner's character as he's leading the Flying Dutchman ship, and he's now cursed. And honestly, one thing I've never really understood is when you're a pirate and you lead ships, do you just somehow just get cursed? Because you look at Davy Jones, he was cursed because of Calypso, and along with his other pirate crew. So it's like, and she could easily take that away. So it's like, how exactly does it work? And even Jack Sparrow, the interaction with Will Turner's son, it's not exactly as enjoyable. And also, you don't really get that great sword action or anything like that in this film. There's at least a couple shots when you got like explosions in the water I thought was really cool. And also, just the usage of Barbossa was kind of just terrible. And yeah, it was not what I wanted from the finale of this franchise, though it kind of is. Am I excited for a 6th Pirates of the Caribbean film? Probably, if you just brought back something classic of it. This was not what I wanted for a Pirates of the Caribbean film. So, unfortunately, it comes to last. Now, on Stranger Tides, I actually think this is a pretty good movie. It's a major gap because I think Pirates of the Caribbean at Dead Man Tell No Tales is a C plus or a C. This one is a B minus, and that's because it actually has things that I enjoy of the pirate films, but it is pretty flawed. On the positives, there of course are lots of great action scenes and sword fights. There's also plenty of cool things. I like the Ian McShellen pirate. By the way, if it didn't show, then you'll have the chapter marker down below to tell of what I'm talking about. I like the mermaids were pretty creepy, and the score was also pretty good. But the big problem here is it tried to do so much, introducing mermaids, introducing this girl, having Jack Sparrow's dad. It's like it was trying to do so much, and that you were trying to make Jack Sparrow the main character, and it was just not that compelling. And at first I'm like, I thought Jack Sparrow was technically the main character of this franchise. And you realize the main story of these films was Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. And when you make Jack the main character and Elizabeth and Will aren't there, it just kind of becomes stale and boring. And also, they brought back Barbossa. They kind of did something interesting with him. And honestly, this probably is the film where I just got a lot of SpongeBob vibes, with a pirate that lost a leg, mermaids, traveling across the sea. There's a lot of SpongeBob vibes that I was getting from this movie, and I kind of was getting them in also, actually I was getting a little bit more of Little Mermaid vibes in Dead Man Tell No Tales, but besides that, it's enjoyable, but it is flawed.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
Now, there is actually a major gap between Dead Man Tell No Tales, At Stranger Tides, and Dead Man's Chest. I think the top three are all really good movies. And Dead Man's Chest is actually a really good film. What I really appreciated about this one was that it was a sequel that took the things that we liked about the original, did a bit more of it. It has some cool action, and it probably has some of the more unique action of the bunch, where you have all these sequences of like Jack Sparrow falling. There's like this one scene I remember where he was like falling, and his foot was like hanging off of a rope, and it was so much fun to look at. And you're thinking Jack Sparrow should have died in this moment, and he survives, and he's like crashing through bridges and stuff. I'm like, this is insane of what stunts they're doing. Even the fights on the boats with the Kraken, they're fun to watch, and the special effects of that are great. The introduction to Davy Jones was also really good, and I also like the way they kind of continued the story of the characters, where you like got Elizabeth and she's like hiding as a pirate, but that actually has really great payoff into what we get into the third film. And the reason why it's in third place is because while it does some things I think that are better than the first film, I think it kind of struggles because it feels like there's so much conflict that, you know, you have Jack trying not to die. You have Elizabeth and Will trying to not get arrested. You have all of this. You have this and that, and it's like it's kind of a little overwhelming. But at the end of the day, you do kind of understand the story. And of course, you get Barbossa coming back, so that was fun. But it's at the very end. So, I think that this is a very enjoyable film, but it's a little bit overwhelming at times, so I have to drop it down a little bit. But still a very entertaining film. And with this movie, what I really liked about it was the way that it just kind of introduced us to this world of pirates. Where you have these people these pirates are these nasty creatures, and you introduce this character of Jack Sparrow who's so fun, and he kind of makes up everything as he goes along, and it's so incredible to watch that. Even through this, you even get the relationship between him and Will Turner creating, and that is fun. And it also just has unique sword action, it has fun chemistry between characters, a great score, and even with the sales of pirate ships, even the character or villain of Captain Barbossa, he's fun, and I think it was actually kind of cool for him to come back in the third film. And I especially love the way they kind of like introduce like these pirates are dead, and so you have that classic scene where these pirates are revealed to be dead, and you're like, you better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one. Awesome scene. at the same time, while this film does a lot of really good stuff, I feel like that it kind of lacks that epicness that I guess a certain film we'll talk about in a minute has. And also, Captain Barbossa doesn't really have the best plot as to why he kidnapped Elizabeth Swann. It's like, you enjoy all the other stuff, but you don't really think about the plot, so I think it drops down a little bit for me. So, it's almost a masterpiece, but I feel like it was a good introduction for this world, but a certain film does that all better. And easily, this is the best Pirates of the Caribbean film. And I think what this movie does so incredibly well is that it defines epic. I mean, obviously, I've never seen a film on like this scale. From the action, it's epic, whether it's the Singapore fight or really just all the sword fights in general. You have a monkey. The Singapore fight literally ends where Jack, the monkey, shoots an explosive and he's like, "Thank you, Jack." Like, it's just amazing. And when you get to the third act, it's awesome as you have all these pirates and all this great stuff. It even has like great chemistry and humor between all the characters, whether it's Jack or Barbossa. I love the usage of Barbossa as he was so much fun to be a villain. It was so much just fun to see him as one of our heroes. I also love the relationship between Elizabeth and Will, as it's very complicated, but they found a way to make it to close it out in a little bit this way. And then, of course, I think that this is also one of the more gorgeous films where it actually feels like a really good looking movie. Unlike all these other movies where they just kind of look bland. And this one I feel like actually continues that world, but it's able to be experimental where you have these awesome shots of the sea and the night sky that are just gorgeous, but the fights are beautiful. And even exploring the character of Davy Jones and that all this was a curse, and you realize how these people become cursed, and you even realize at the first movie they were cursed. They're not actually dead, and that the only reason they're cursed is because they're on the Black Pearl ship. And so it just closed it to me. It was a great closeout to this franchise, to this trilogy, but it found a way to be the best epic Pirates of the Caribbean film. So that's my ranking of the pirate movies. This is the best one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.